Hello there and welcome. My name is Linda and this is my channel Linda T70. It's really good to have your company today, particularly if you're a long-standing viewer and subscriber. Really great to have your company. And if you just happened on this video and thought you'd give me a little try, I hope you enjoy today's content. I've been trying to do some different sorts of videos for you, and my videos generally come under the bracket of, or the blanket of, lifestyle try-on hauls. I've done a little bit of cooking, I've done a little bit of crafting, and a little bit this and that really, gardening and whatever, and some sort of makeovers and organising videos. So if you like that sort of thing, hope you'll join me in future. So, first of all, thank you ever so much for all the wonderful comments about the cooking video I did last time. I got lots of very positive feedback and lots of advice, lots of tips of things you do. Some of you didn't really like the things that I did. I don't mean the food, I mean possibly the way I did things or whatever, but that was very much in the minority. With very few exceptions, it was all positive, and I do thank you for that, because it's such a weird thing to do, cook in front of somebody else. I never cook in front of anyone. Current husband is always in the other room. I don't even think he realises what that room's for half the time. I just disappear in there for a while, and then he has some sort of food as a result of it. But yes, it's very much a solitary thing for me. You know, I don't particularly dislike cooking, but I don't particularly like it. But, you know, as lots of you are the same as me, it's just been your kind of job, I suppose, for the last 40, 50 years or whatever. And lucky you if you've got one of those husbands that does all the cooking for you. I mean, I've never had one of those. But never know, do you? I mean, next time, future husband, maybe he'll be a whiz in the kitchen. You never know, do you? Anyway. Today I have another different theme for you, and this is my treasures, I suppose you'd call them. They're only treasures to me. They're a load of old rubbish to anybody else, and I think my children are dreading those words one day that I will say, I'd like you to keep this when I go, as in die. And out of a sense of duty, they'll be carrying this old toot round forever. I mean, it's not old toot to me, it's prized possessions, and they're things that mean something to me. I mean, inevitably there'll be some sad bits in here, because you get to, I'm 70 now, and you get to, you know, your old age, I suppose, and you lose people, and you have things that remind you of those people. Now, I have to say up front, I don't think, I mean, I'm not the sort of person that will keep me old grandma's cardigan or something. It's, I'm not quite that bad. And I do know that if there was a fire or a flood, hope there isn't, and this all went, I've still got memories, and I can see the people I've lost, that, you know, family members. I see them and hear them every day in my own children, because I'm always surprised of, you know, a look they might have, or the way they move, or the things they say. Those people that I've lost are in my children, so, and also in my grandchildren, to a certain degree. So those people are never far, and you don't really need to keep a loft full of their belongings, unless that's your thing. I'm not, you know, you've got to do you in this situation, haven't you? So I thought I'd run through a few things that I've got that I would say are my treasures, all different sorts of reasons. Some are a bit sad, some of them have got little stories attached to them. I'll start off with, because I know you like to have a bit of a laugh with me, and I don't know how much there is to laugh about in this, but the first thing I thought I'd mention, when I did my Am I a Bad Nana video, I said about when you have your first baby and you treasure everything it gives you, you know, that you buy for it, don't you? You can't bear to throw, you know, the baby grows away, or you know, I don't know, I can't even think of things, but you know, all the little toys that they used to cuddle in bed, and some people have great trouble keeping those, in getting rid of those sorts of things. But as I say, you know, with your first baby, you tend to do a lot more of that, keeping stuff, taking photos at every opportunity, writing everything down, you know, what was their first word, because they sell books for all that, which I have got. And then you get your second baby come along, and you don't do the same thing, do you? You're too busy wrapped up with your other child and your new child and your life, and so you don't bother so much. So I just thought I'd show you as a comparison, because I went up into my loft to find my treasures, and I thought I'd show you the difference in my daughter's pile and my son's pile. So I've just thought of something I think I've forgotten, so hang on one second, I'll be back. You don't get away this that easily. I've just remembered some other old tut that I was going to show you. Anyway, so when my daughter was born, she is now in her mid-40s, as I keep liking to tell you, and she probably hates. And when she was born, we were sent loads and loads of cards, greetings cards, and they're all in this. One of these childhood memory things. And, you know, you lovingly fill out the first page with the second they were born and everything. And over time, so she's in her mid-40s, so of course anything I stuck these things into the albums with has all perished now, so they're all falling right out everywhere. But this is a whole, like, almost a wedding album type thing with all this stuff in it. I won't show you everything because it's ridiculous to show you, but I'll tell you what, it's quite interesting looking at the fashions of cards. So this is 1980 she was born, so this is the kind of delightful none of that, what you call it, moon pig or anything. I mean, look at this one. I mean, I don't know how well you can see that, but you get the idea. So basically there's that one. Oh, and the other thing is, it's nice to, when I have looked at them in the intervening years, and there's lots of people you either think, who the heck was that, or they've gone. So sometimes it's nice to certain cards to keep, but I think I'm getting over it now. So we've got this one. This was one she did of herself when she got a bit older, with pictures and bits and pieces in that I've helped her fill in, and she wrote. So you look, you go, darling. And then I kept every card that she got for her first birthday, her first Christmas, right up till she was 3, I think, or maybe 4, because then we got her brother, so I didn't, you know, I kind of gave up on that. So I've got these big old scrapbooks full of all these cards, and again, it's interesting to look at them, to you know, to see the fashions and see who you knew in those days. So this is basically cards, and you know, from birth to 3 or 4. And then my son came along, and I did do the whole in a scrapbook, all the cards he had we had when he was born. And I mean, I found this one. This is particularly scary, isn't it? I mean, I wonder who sent that. Oh, people we used to live next door to. God, I've forgotten their names until I just saw them. You know, this type of stuff. And this, well, actually, this was, half of it was birth, and then I've just seen here, this is when he got to 1. So we kept his first birthday cards. Well, I did. I mean, his father wouldn't have cared. So we've got that, and we've got a baby book. I think I bought all this stuff from Marks and Spencer's back in the day. And this was just filling in, you know, when he got his first tooth and all that malarkey. Lovely picture there of him with his sister. I bet she thought, oh God, why didn't you just get me a dolly for Christmas? So we got that for one, the second child, and all that other pile for the first child. And I think I really need to get rid of these. Like, there's no need for them. There's nothing, they don't bring me any joy really. So subject to running it by my children, who I don't think will care one way or the other. I think they probably need to go. I tell you what I did keep though. When I got married to my previous husband, you know, you get those, all your cards and your telegrams. I know telegrams. And, you know, the things they got you to wear, like a ball and chain. Oh, I know, funny, isn't it? And the horseshoes and everything that used to go to whatever Clinton's cards was in the 70s when I married their father, my children's father. And I kept all of that. Long after I was divorced, when I moved here with current husband, they went in the loft. Now, this was not because I was still hankering after previous husband in any way, shape or form. It was the whole, you know, the people that sent these cards and gave us these things and wrote the messages. That was the thing. But as soon as we were going to get married, I was going to marry current husband, they all went. So I'm a bit mad, but they're not still upstairs in the loft, and I don't go up and cry over them or anything. They've gone. They went sort of nearly 20 years ago. But I did keep them, and it was for that reason. So speaking of things that are childlike, I did keep talking about keeping their clothes. My son is approaching 40 now, and he is very, very tall. And this is the thing I brought him home from hospital in. He was born at Christmas, and so he got this little red baby grow. He barely fitted into it, to be fair. He only ever wore it that one trip from the hospital to home. I've just never got rid of it, and I think a lot of that is because I didn't keep that much of him when he, you know, his stuff when he was little. And over the years, this has been on teddies, it's been on dollies. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been used, and then it's been put back in a box and shoved up in the loft again. But I can't believe, I mean, I know we all say this, don't we? But if you saw him now, I mean, this is a tiny little thing. So, I don't know. I feel I should, I don't know, get over it, Linda. And something else that I keep, which is going in my coffin with me. I might have said this before on a video, I'm not entirely sure. But this teddy bear, now he had a bit of a makeover when I started watching The Repair Shop. Now if you don't know, if you don't live in this country, The Repair Shop is a programme where a selection of crafts people, so carpenters, metal workers, seamstresses, upholsterers, people with all these crafts, it's a TV show, and they're all in one kind of barn place, and they have folk come in with sad stories. And for example, they might bring a teddy bear in and say, you know, he's got one eye and one leg and we want him restored because he means such a lot to us. And they do that with bits of furniture, toys, clothing, loads of stuff. And I started watching it, and I thought, poor old Ted. Now this teddy is 76 to my knowledge, because he was my sister's, he wasn't my teddy. He used to be nice and furry, he no longer is. I'm surprised he's actually got two eyes, although I think my mother might have had a hand in repositioning that at some point. He's just, I don't know what he's stuffed with. But over the years, I mean, I remember my mother made him, she got some fur fabric and she completely covered him in fur fabric. She was nothing if not inventive, but he couldn't move his joints or anything. It was all just a straight jacket of furriness. So when I saw The Repair Shop, because my, current husband, he said to me, why don't you send him away? And I thought, well, I haven't really got a sob story. The sad thing is my sister died quite a number of years ago, and she was ill and she died, and that is still extremely sad to me. But she'd kept this teddy with her, and her partner, when we went to clear her things from his house or from their house, he was going to keep this, and I said, look, if I can take one thing of hers, I want this teddy. So I have had this teddy for 22 years now. I don't really know what to do with him or where to put him. I don't like to put him anywhere near where the dogs can get at him, because one of my dogs likes a bit of teddy bear if she can get hold of one, or any sort of soft toy. He's had a couple of near scrapes, I can tell you. He's been repaired. I patched him a little bit here with some felt. I put a bow on him. I mean, you know, I don't know. I probably should. It's probably a bit undignified having that bow on, really, isn't it? But he's an old man, an old teddy. And I've said to my family, when I'm in my box at the end, he can go with me. Unless, of course, he's got different ideas. I don't know. Difficult to know, isn't it? He's never had a name as far as I know. I don't know what brand he is. I don't know who. I can't remember. I mean, he's long been around in my family longer than I have, so I don't know who bought him for my sister. All I know is he was there with her all her life, so that's why I keep him. So anyway, I don't know why it upsets me really, but it just does. But anyway, this is Ted, and he's precious to me. Something else from when I was a child, when we came back to I don't know why I say this, because it doesn't really make any difference to the story, but I was born in Australia, and we came back to Australia when I was 3, and we lived in London, and I associate this with that. So this is a Bournvita cup. Now I bet there's loads of you out there that have got one of these things. It's got a little cap thing, so your mum would make your Bournvita, and I think it's Bakelite, and it's got a little sleepy face on. I don't know if you can see that. And I hadn't kept that. I mean, I hadn't had, well, obviously my children came along when, you know, that was a different thing, but the teddy and this and that, I haven't had those with me all my life. That my mum had, for example, my mum was looking, well, my mum didn't throw anything away, so she'd still got this, and when my mum died, I thought, I'm going to have that. So me and my sister had one each. I mean, my dog did get at the cat once, and I've got a dog tooth mark in it. I don't do anything with it. It's not, I don't know how to display it, because I don't think it's worth displaying. I just don't want to throw it away. It's a memory of my childhood, and I can remember drinking out of it. And I also fear that if I did try and drink out of it, it will probably taste really funny, because who wants to drink out of a Bakelite cup? But look, you can have his hat going that way. He's very versatile. So this is my Bournvita cup, or you could hot chocolate, gin, wine, anything. So that's a treasure to me. Another thing, parent related. Well, there's a lot of things that are parent related, really. I'll try not to be too long with this video. My parents used to play cards a lot. This was their sort of social circle, and when I was a baby and when we lived in Australia, and there were lots of evenings where they could sit out on the veranda of our house, they would often talk about, you know, having a few drinks with the neighbours and playing cards. And these cards belonged to them, playing cards. There's nothing special about them. And again, when my mother died, who was my last parent to die, so obviously they were with her before that, I took these home with me because I like to think that they touched them. And I always take these on holiday. I don't think we've ever played cards with them, but my friend came on with holiday with us last year, and I got these out, and she said, God, well, those old things. I was most offended. I said, well, they were my parents. That shut her up. Anyway, I can tell you. So just a pack of, well, it's a two packs of cards that were my parents. And the other couple of, oh, this is a sort of a sad box. I will try and get a bit jollier in a minute. But this Clinique box, when my sister knew she didn't have very much longer to live, she had a lot of bits and pieces that were our parents, and this is quite a history box actually. The Clinique thing is just because that's the box she had, not because it's any, well, she obviously must have had some Clinique products at one point. And she's written on there, so I like to see her handwriting. And in it there's well, I can't really say too much about some of these things because they do make me cry, but there's loads of stuff in here. They're relating to my dad's service in the army. There's the sort of ration books. My mother had a baby that was stillborn before my sister, and there's the antenatal card from that. I mean, there's just pictures of my parents, you know, that they've written on, because people used to write on the back of photos, didn't they? So I've got a box of all of that stuff. Their old passports. I don't know. I mean, I've often wondered about some of the war type documents, whether the Imperial Museum would be interested, but you just don't get round to it. Randomly though, when we came back from Australia, we came back on a boat called the Fair Sea, and this is the passenger list. It's all typed out, it's not printed. I don't know if you can make that out. Our surname is in there, but it's spelt wrong. I don't quite know. But it is us anyway. My dad's name was Percy A and children. No mention of, oh, Mr. and Mrs. Percy A and children. So yeah, I keep that because I just think it's a bit of history for me. And what was the other thing I just saw in there? Oh yeah, my mum had kept these. Oh, hang on, no, that's not it. Oh, hang on, no, this is funeral speeches. You don't want to look at those, do you? Oh, I can't find it. Perhaps I've moved it now. There was my old school report in here as well. There's pay slips, tax slips from the Inland Revenue for my dad. I mean, my dad's been gone I don't know, 30 years, something like that. So, oh yeah, and my mum had kept this as well because this is what my dad smoked. So, Golden Virginia, so I keep that. And she kept it because she used to be able to smell the tobacco, and that made her feel a bit closer to him. You know, like people do, don't they? They keep the fragrances that people wear, but that was tobacco. So anyway, so that's my Clinique box full of written treasures. I've also dug these out. We're getting to the end. I've kept a couple of Mother's Day cards from my son, not because I like him more than my daughter or my other children, but I just think they're quite funny. There's one that says Mother Superior. I like that. I kept that on the fridge for ages. And I quite like Mum in a Million. But in the interests of fairness, my daughter got me this a few years ago. It's like one of those Ladybird books. World's Best Mum, of course. I know we all are. And it says on this little greeting thing here, I'll read it to you. I think it's quite amusing anyway. This is a mum. A mum has two very important jobs to do. One is to look after her children. The other is to do everything else as well. Sometimes the mum needs a break. Gail has managed to find a few hours with her friends away from her home, her husband and her children. They are all relaxing by talking about their homes, their husbands and their children. Mums like to plan ahead. Kathy measures out her life in meals. Even at breakfast, she is only 3 meal times from her first glass of wine. I like that. That is a good, how it is really, isn't it? So I keep that one. That's from my daughter. So the last, oh no, this is one of the most bizarre presents you might think. Probably 20 years ago, more than that. My daughter was living away from home with a boyfriend who wasn't a particularly nice person, and she ended up having living sort of very frugally, let's say, for a while. And I tried to help her as much as I could, but she was quite loyal to this person, so she stayed living with him. And I don't know I can't remember actually whether it was a birthday or Mother's Day. I think it might have been a Mother's Day. And she said she wanted to buy me something. So she went into the pound shop, which was, I think everything was actually a pound back then. And she said, I've looked for the most amusing thing that I thought might make you laugh to buy. And it's this. And it's a headless woman in a sort of a posh old-fashioned dress. And it did make me laugh. And she bought me something, and this means quite a lot to me. It's because it's funny. She's quite funny, my daughter. And although she doesn't think so. And I completely got that. I thought that was amusing. Now I'm sure you'll be thinking, but that means a lot to me, that she wanted to buy me something. She couldn't find anything. She couldn't really afford anything, but she went into the shop, bought me something and thought it would make me laugh. So there we go, little statue thing. So that means a lot to me. The last bits are jewellery really. This watch, do you remember these watches that we all had in the 1970s and 80s? This is a rotary watch, and it actually still keeps time. I put it to time and it's still going, just a wind up watch. I mean, they're hideous, aren't they? But we all had one back in the day. So there's mine. This was bought for me by my previous husband when he was my fiance. And I was 21. This is what I got for my 21st birthday. Again, it's not related to the fact that I don't think so, that he bought it for me. I think it's just because something from a notable birthday, and it's ugly. I mean, I've got big fat wrists and don't suit watches anyway, but I'm quite impressed that after, 1974 I was 21, so you do the maths there. It's still going anyway. I have my grandmother's engagement ring. Sorry, where are we? There we go. Little diamond and sapphire jobby. It did used to fit me, but I've got big fat fingers now. Yeah, my mum gave me this. She said she wanted me to have it, so I did wear it when it fitted me for a while, but so my daughter's going to have that. She can't wait. This is another ring that my mum used to wear. It's not a precious stone or anything. It's just it is gold, but it's not, as far as I'm aware. Maybe it's a garnet or something. I don't know. I keep that. I mean, it does fit me, but I just don't think I suit rings like that. There's a little broken, funny little ring that was my sister's. I've often thought of repairing it and cleaning it, but I don't. I just keep it in a box. I don't really know what it's supposed to be. Got a little stone in it and some leaves. I think it's silver, but... And last but not least, now I am not in the least bit religious. I have to put that out there. Hope that doesn't bother any of you, but I'm not. I don't have any particular religious belief, and neither were my parents either. They didn't have any, or my sister didn't have any religious beliefs. My parents didn't get us christened, me and my sister christened, because she said she didn't have any religious belief, and she thought that if we wanted to be christened when we got a bit older and could decide for ourselves, then we could go and do that. So, and frankly, I've never done it. But my parents met in 1939. My dad was in the army and was in, is it Portsmouth or Plymouth, where they used to have those sort of barracks down, one of those places, sorry, I can't remember. And he got friendly with a chap. They became pals, and the chap came back on leave one weekend or whenever, and went to visit his girlfriend. He got this new girlfriend, and he said to my dad, well, why don't you come with me? And one of the sisters of this girlfriend was my mother. My mother was one of 9. There were seven girls and 2 boys, so he had a bit of a pick of them there, I think. So anyway, and so the rest is history, really. They got married actually on the day, they got married on the 7th of September 1940, which, if any of you know about this sort of thing, this was the day that London was bombed, and they were on the outskirts of London getting married. They spent their wedding night in a shelter with the rest of the family. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you that is this little cross. This chain is not significant. It's just a chain. Let's see if I can show you. I don't like it. I think it's quite ugly. But my mother told me that, I don't know if you can see, there's a sort of a design on it. I know it's not very easy showing you these things, especially when it's shiny. It's got a sort of carving thing on it. My mother told me that a lesbian friend of hers, now when she first told me this story, I didn't know what a lesbian was because I was little, but she said for some reason this friend, who happened to be a lesbian, gave her, she was featured quite highly in the story, gave my mum this cross to wear, well, gave it to her for her wedding present. So my mother wore this on the day she married my dad, and never again, because she wasn't, I'm quite surprised she did actually. I would have thought she told this girl to stick it up her jumper, but obviously she was too kind to do that, so she wore that. Now, as a result of this has become a bit of a tradition, really, in a fairly short list of marriages, might I add. So Mum wore this on her wedding day. I wore this on the day I married my first husband. When I married current husband, I wore it, and when my son got married, he didn't wear it. But I put it in a little bag, and I asked him if he'd keep it in his pocket until after the wedding, which he did. So the other thing about this is it's got some, I don't think you'll be able to see, but in the back of it, it's got some little dents. And they are teeth marks where my mum, this is kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but it's dentable, this cross. And my mum said that she was wearing it, and my sister was sitting on her lap when she was teething, and she got this thing and put it in her mouth. And so they're my sister's teeth marks on it. So, so this is available for any weddings. So that's why I keep that, because it's not because of the religion side of it, but because it means something to me, and it's got my sister's teeth marks in it. And yes, it's been at all of the weddings that I've, that have been personal to me since then. Right. This is something of my father's. This is the last thing, and there is a story attached to this. Very briefly, my dad was, as I say, he was in the army, and he used to drive who was younger than him, officer around, and there was an occasion where the two of them have been somewhere. They come back to barracks, I suppose. You should listen to all these stories your parents tell you, really, shouldn't you? But anyway, this is the broad story. They came back to barracks. The officer went off somewhere and Dad was still by the vehicle. Then all hell broke out, and there was fire and bombs dropping, artillery and everything. I don't know the whole story of it. And the officer was killed. And my dad was so sad, because my dad was 25 when the war broke out, so he was quite old, really. And this officer was younger than him. He'd been to Sandringham and trained and everything. And when they said to when my dad learned that this guy had died, and it was all terribly sad, and they notified the family and everything, and then he was asked if he'd like to keep something that this officer had. Don't know his name or anything, and he had a desert rat badge. Now I don't know why. I don't know whether he had been. I've tried to find out, looking on Wikipedia and whatever, to see if it makes sense that he would have been with my dad, because my dad was in I think the Royal Irish Hussars. I don't know, but anyway, that's the story, and that is why he's got a desert rat badge, and he had that. I can't remember a time when this wasn't sewn onto his blazer. He was very, very proud of that, and I thought he'd been a desert rat, but it was this young officer had the badge. So there we go, that's the story of that. So I don't know if this has been a long video. I hope this hasn't been too creepy or too too miserable for you. Yeah, I think, some of this, I think probably those albums with cards in, I mean, they smell a bit funny when when you've got old paper and that, it smells a bit odd, doesn't it? So I think they're probably going to have to go. I might pick out the cards that my sister and my parents wrote, or I do have other people that I've lost and in my family, and think about them often, but they're the main ones, really. Didn't want me to bring everything in the loft down, did you? So yeah, I think I need to cull those. This is all in the spirit of me getting rid of stuff. So on a slightly different tangent to all this treasures, I've got my next video, I hope, is going to be my new bedroom wardrobe situation. I've mentioned that once or twice. We worked quite hard on that at the weekend, and that was the bank holiday weekend, and current husband's done a very good job on that, and I want to finish it all and sort everything out. So I'm having a good old sort out, and finding the right place for things to go, because it's just all been crammed in for too long. So I want to show you that next time. And what was the other thing? Oh, hang on one sec. Yeah, that was the other thing. In September, so we're nearly out of August now, aren't we? I've arranged to get rid of so much of my Christmas decor. I have got boxes and boxes and boxes of the stuff. Now, if you were with me last Christmas, I probably would have shown you I did do a video on Christmas decor, and the amount of stuff I had. I can't remember if I actually put that in a video though, but every year we bring it all down, and then it sort of sits there, and I think, oh my God, where do I start? And quite often now I have my friend who helps as well, because to be honest, it's just getting all a bit too much for me, and I want to get rid of loads of it. And I keep thinking about all the stuff that's in the loft, and it's frankly, I don't want it all up there now. The older you get, the less you need all these things, I suppose. So anyway, I've arranged with my daughter and my friend to help me go through and be ruthless with me to get rid of stuff. And then current husband said he'll do a car boot sale or something, because there's going to be, I can't take it all to the charity shop. I'll probably take some to a charity shop because obviously people need that sort of thing at Christmas and not everyone can afford to buy stuff, can they? And then the rest he might just car boot because I don't know how else I'll get rid of it. Most of it is too good. Well, it's your perception of what's nice or not, I suppose, but a lot of it is too good to actually just bin or take to the recycling place. So I'm going to try and get rid of as much of it as best I can, but I do need some help because I don't know how good I'll be at doing it. I'm okay with a lot of stuff, but with my Christmas decorations, because that's always been my thing, Christmas and decorating at Christmas, which I will still do, but I just don't need all the stuff that I've got now. So that is another decluttering and sorting out thing that will be coming up in sort of early September sometime, hopefully, if that all works out. So anyway, that is everything for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching all my videos, to be quite honest. If you want to subscribe, please do so. I still haven't got to my 2,000. I do have, you know, I know that people like my videos, not everybody, but you know, a lot of you do like my videos. And if I could get I don't know how else to get my subscribers up really. I've tried various things and I would like to get some more, and if I could get to my 2,000, that would be absolutely brilliant. I'm not far, but you know, need a little bit of a push. So if you would like to subscribe, please do so. I keep saying that, please do so. And if you want to have the notification bell, I usually put videos up twice a week. I'm trying to do that, and become one of my gang, because we have a little bit of a laugh on here, unless we're doing miserable stuff like things that dead people used to own. So anywho, lovely to talk to you. I will see you again very soon, so bye bye for now.